Yo. Hey man. I just wanted to say a couple things. Um this is most likely I don't even think this is a pregame. I think I'm just going to say shit. Um Earlier my good brother Infinite Corridors put out a video. Very, very, very specifically important video. The things that he said are, in my opinion, of great importance and benefit to many others. Doesn't mean you have to think how he thinks or how I think. Because even between us, we think alike on many, many, many different levels. But then there's little idiosyncrasies that set us apart, and that's a part of the beauty of how divinity works, in my opinion. That's what makes you a sovereign being. That's what, and to be honest, that's why I think that there's a lot of semantics within what I subscribe to and with what, the paths believe. And when I say the paths, I'm trying to shorten. I don't want to have to say love and light and left hand path every time I kind of talk about that group. That group of circles, but the uniform field theory, the concept that we're all one being, I don't like that. I'm not gonna ever subscribe to that. But the idea that we all come from the first energy, the first being, the creator of all, the first, as I refer to it, that makes complete sense to me, So and to give an example, Infinite Corridors has a very similar feeling to where, we are our own being, but we we come from an original creator. I don't like to refer to it as source because I believe that that's some weird shit that has been kind of pushed within specific interests, specific groups. Anyway, yeah, go watch that video. I think it's number 6. He's doing an audio series, so he's no longer on video format, but it's an audio. It's a series that he's doing, and I think he's on number 6. But whatever. Today is I don't even know what today is. Whatever, dude. Go fucking find it. Go listen to all of them. I think I'm gonna talk about some stuff soon. I want to talk about the concept of the black nobility. So I'm doing research on the black nobility, more research because I've already done a good bit. Sooner than that though, because I've still got a good bit to go before I feel comfortable doing a new video. Because I think I'm gonna I'm gonna draw the correlations between the black nobility, the Roman Empire, the still active Roman Empire, and the Anuna. I'm going to try my best to draw the correlations there because I don't need more evidence of the connection between those. But, within talking about it, I'd like to have as much information as possible and be as knowledgeable as possible. More soon, though, I think I'm going to talk about Mel's Hole. I was about to, right before I hit the button, I was about to talk about Mel's Hole, but same thing there. I want to have more than just, a story or two to reference. And then my thoughts on it. I'm gonna offer a good bit there. I'm still fucking mad about the Bliss video. I'm very upset about the Bliss video. I need to go see if by some miracle or something if it happened to just pop up, all probably edited and whatnot, if it does pop up, but most likely not. Most likely it just got eaten. And I realized afterward that I had talked about how an old coworker had sent me an article or a Reddit post talking about Schmoogle and how they're now doing tests on that AI that I talked about, you know, working on the project without my knowledge and without you know, without correct compensation, without like appropriate compensation for working on something so magnanimous. So that's one thing. I mean, I talked about multiple things in that video that just they weren't naturally, you know, injected into the second attempt. And so I think because of that, it ate it. It fucking ate it. Man, you know, lame. To those who operate and own those things, you are cowards. You are bitch made. Anyway, speaking of which, I would like to say I think I come off as negative to some, not all, because I get lots and lots of really, really nice, kind comments that you know, they say they resonate with the things I talk about, and very, very nice comments. And then there are others that are like, why are you so upset, or why are you so angry or mad or whatever? And to an extent, they're not wrong. I am upset, but it's because I'm not just saying that I love you, dude. You know what I mean? Like, I know that you're probably used to many, many beings putting cameras in their faces and talking about love and how it's all love and love is the answer and all this stuff. But many of them don't fucking mean that. They don't mean that at all. And it's become very, very like common for me to kind of, and this isn't right, but it does kind of check out. It does work most of the time. Those beings that are super, super love and light, you know, based beings are the ones that are trying really, really hard to be dark and fucking, you know, mysterious and arcane and all these things. They're usually trying to like make up for something, or they're trying to get money from you. And so it's my experience that many times their words are not genuine. They're not sincere words. So when they talk about love and the answer to everything is love and love is all healing and all this stuff, a lot of the time they're just regurgitating shit they saw some other, you know, slightly more experienced version of them, what they're emulating. They're just saying what that person said, you know? Which is gross to me. That is fucking lame to me. But when you know, and I'm not trying to do it in like they don't actually mean it, but I mean it. But I am, though, at the same time. Like, the reason I get so fucking upset, it's for me. It's definitely for me. I'm upset for me. But I'm also upset for the rest of my family. Because they're also fucking stuck in here with me, dealing with, I can only assume, fairly similar situations. Not the exact same, but like fairly similar. It just makes logical sense to me that there is a reason that we are so, you know, trampled upon and messed with and targeted in specific ways and you know, all the other iterations of ways that we describe this place. And I'm not just guessing in that. I've talked to many of you, you know? I've talked to many of you. And yeah, there are some that, like, that pose as us and pretend to be us. But let them. Who gives a fuck? As long as they're not harming anyone or hurting you or trying to get you to join a cult or some shit, let them fucking act like us. Who gives a shit? Maybe it'll rub off, you know? Maybe it'll help them. But I mean that I do love and care for you. And so even just on the level of, okay, so if this is what I'm going through and these are the things that are happening to me, that means they're happening to my brothers and sisters. I fucking hate that. It bothers the fuck out of me. So yes, I get heated when I talk sometimes and I say specific things that could be taken, you know, in offense if you're vastly different from the way that we tend to be. But I mean, fucking tough. We have emotions, we have predispositions, we have experiences that lead to opinions, that lead to beliefs. You know, I think I do a fairly decent job of trying to be balanced, apologetic if and when I need to be. You know, if I don't need to be, it's still fuck you, you know. There's specific beings that I'm talking to, and you can't take those times when I'm speaking to, like, if I'm speaking to what I consider to be archons or whatever you want to call the adversaries, I'm gonna keep saying fuck them. Dude, fuck them, you know? That's not me being negative. That's just me not being pusillanimous about it. In the end, it's possible to feel multiple things at once. One of the things that Infinite Corridor said in his video that I loved so much was that he forgives all. That he forgives all. And then we talked later because I was curious as to like how he if that's a you know, an absolute, if he feels that in absolution. But my interpretation after speaking with him is that he forgives, but he does not forget. That's what I did. That's what I did. And it's done so much to help my perspective because as I keep saying, I can sit and eat with an enemy. I can offer a kindness to an enemy in times of rest. Like if we're not at war in that moment, I don't need to like one up you or get one over on you if we're not in battle or if we're not at war at that time. Like all of these absolutes that have been pushed to the level of like it being so difficult to be able to change your position or change your vantage point or change your, you know, your opinion on a thing, that's not beneficial, you know. Even in here, that's not how it works. So I can only imagine how it is out there. Things probably change a lot, you know, or maybe they don't. But what I choose to do is learn from this place and try to apply it not only to this avatar and my, you know, brain and nervous system and shit, but to my being. And so, you know, sometimes I'm going to say things and sound heated. Other times I'm going to sound like, you know, a pushover. Again, in the Suspiria video. I'm going to talk about that Suspiria video for a minute, dude. Go fucking watch that Suspiria video, brother. I mean, I sounded, some would say unlike myself in those Suspiria videos, but it's because it evoked something very, very like primal from me, and not like in a violent way, not a violent primordial being, but like love. You know, I really do love that film and the things that it helped me to shine light on within myself and within this place. You know, I don't think it's healthy to come from one place all the time. So if you're kind of paying attention to and learning from a being who comes from like one energy all the time, I'm not telling you whether or not you should pay attention to them, because it's likely that they have some, at least a little, beneficial information for you anyway. But what I would say is that anyone that is coming from one specific energy all the time is very likely not being honest with you or themselves. You know? That's not natural, especially for this place. I'm not going to claim to know how we are outside of this place, but in here, if you act like that, you're a fucking psychopath, you know? You're a sociopath. This place doesn't it doesn't promote that type of response. You know, one day you're gonna have a lot of you know, good epiphanies and good energies, and a bunch of cool shit's gonna happen, and you might get laid, or you might have a good molecule into your system. Like, there's all kinds of cool shit. But then the next day might fucking blow, dude. It might suck. And you should be able to respond to that in a healthy way, but respond to it. Don't fucking bottle that shit up and just be like, oh, it's still just love energy. Like, that's, if that works for you, then good. Keep doing it, I guess. But that's not a natural response to a negative polarity event. And you're going to keep bottling that shit up until you explode on somebody. And so many of those, either side of the spectrum, light or dark, left or right, whatever you want to call those, they do that. And I mean that in multiple ways. There are, you know, on both sides, there are some that pretend to always be positive, and they end up, you know, very unhinged and imbalanced. Then there are others, kind of more so on the left-hand path, I will agree, or admit, not agree, that pretend to always come off as, like, you know, malevolent and evil and insidious and, you know, just goofy shit, LARPing. And then they, when you really catch them at a time they're not paying attention, they're cuddling a fucking cat and crying over Sleepless in Seattle or some shit. I dated myself. That movie's from before I even paid attention to that type shit. I was a kid when that movie came out. I don't know, another fucking romance movie. I don't know romance movies, I guess is why I said Sleepless in Seattle. The Notebook? I don't fucking know. Yeah, man. I think there's a thin, very vague and faint line between those who are sharing their epiphanies and gnosis and experiences and steps toward apotheosis with you, and then others that are like literally trying to brainwash you and take in and like dig through your pockets while you're experiencing fucking nirvana or whatever the fuck, you know? There's a difference to me. And I just think one comes off a lot more genuine and doesn't try to, like, present an image to you. Does that make sense? Like, and you have to use your own discernment. I'm not going to try to, sometimes I'll let you know what I think, but I'm not going to try to, like, you know, influence how you view specific beings. I will tell you if something's a cult to me, because I have experience with shit like that, and even lately, my brother called me the other day, and he's having such a hard time with the economy, and just, you know, the lives that we've lived have left us, like, with not many resources and shit, and so he's thinking about joining a fucking cult, actively, like, with knowledge that it is a cult. He's thinking about joining a cult. And it really concerns me, you know what I mean? Because many don't realize, I don't know why this is, it's very obvious to me, I guess I've just paid more attention to cults, but many don't realize that, like, just because you join a cult knowing it's a cult, or you go to a commune, that doesn't mean that they will let you leave. You know that, right? Do you know that's one of the many reasons I try to talk about cults so much? They don't necessarily let you leave, bruh. Like, they may hold you there physically, not just mentally, not just like, oh, well, if you're gonna leave us, I guess that meant you never loved us. Yeah, they do shit like that too. But many of them, depending on what their motives are and what they're doing in their cult and at their cult's headquarters or whatever, they will keep you sometimes. Physically, you know? So I'm concerned for my brother, and if you could keep him in your thoughts or prayers or whatever, you know, you do, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah. I just I thought I would talk about that. I was seriously, I was about to talk about Mel's Hole with, you know, kind of surface knowledge, but I'm going to do more looking into that, and I figured this was a better thing to talk about. Cuz I don't, you know, on one end of the spectrum, I don't give a fuck what people think about how I talk or what my motivations are, because in the end, I'm telling you what my motivations are. I'm telling you what I feel. I try to lay these things out as, you know, sincerely and genuine as I can. And if you interpret that to be something else, I can't help that. I can't do anything about that. If anything, that says more in this situation to me. It potentially says more about you and your discernment than it does about me. And you could take that as you may, because you don't know me for real, for real. You could think that this is some kind of facade or some shit. But again, I can't do anything about that. I can very much tell when someone's presenting an image, or their genuine or sincere selves. Even if there's like a slight little image on top of it, because I see a lot of people do that too. And you know what? I'll be honest. At the beginning of this channel, like I present their Aboriginals in America have to have like multiple versions of themselves. There's a movie about it called what's the name of that movie? I keep wanting to say Thank You for Smoking because it's kind of similar. It's a Boots Riley movie. Sorry to bother you. That's a heavy theme in that movie, where it kind of talks about the juxtaposition of, you know, the expectations of the Aboriginal in America, especially in corporate and professional America, where you basically just like have a job. It's bullshit, and it's probably done a lot to the psyches of many of us. But at the same time, though, there's like a reverse of that, where it's like, so because I can speak well, and because I have I like to read, and I have a fucking vocabulary and shit like that, I'm not Aboriginal anymore, or I'm like, you know, an Oreo or some shit. Like, there's all these things that come with this place, and I don't even like fucking speaking this language. You know what I mean? It's a lame language. It's wrought with fucking spells and hypocrisies and opposite meanings of what you think you're saying and shit like that. It's lame. It's a fucked language. But I'll be honest in that, like, earlier in the, you know, kind of inception of this channel, I like floated back and forth between how I would talk in front of these and then how I would talk in front of these and shit like that. And it's still me, but it's like, I just realized I don't give a fuck about that. It's just gonna be natural. Whatever comes out of my head and out of my mouth is just gonna come out. And I think a lot of beings that make videos kind of go through that, where they're like trying to figure out what they're gonna do in front of the camera, and then I realized, like, just do whatever the fuck you want, and that's you. Does that make sense? It does to me. Even down to the level of like, making people mad or offended. I most of the time am not trying to do that unless I say that I am, or I joke that I am, or admit that I am. Like, when I talk about Canaanites, and I'm speaking about a very specific group of beings, that they are just as, truthful and open about their shittiness as I am about talking shit about them. You know, go look at some of the videos of the way that they treat people that aren't them, or go read the fucking Talmud. Go read the Talmud, dude. And then you'll see why I couldn't give less fucks about anyone's position on my views on that specific stuff. It's based in a thing. It's not just to be a dick, or because someone has influenced me to view a group a certain way. I made my own informed decision that it's fuck them, because to me they are also, they're with them. They're with those that I talk about regularly, that I talk shit to. I talk shit to you in these videos, and you still are too pussed out to fucking see me in person without all your fucking resources and money and technologies. You know? You are pussed out. I won't say pussies because I think pussies are actually very, very powerful. And, you know, you show that they are in the way that you treat women. You know, the way that you view women in the Talmud, in you know, practice in these times now and in the past. So yeah, when I say things like, as long as you and I draw breath, we're devils to one another, I'm not just talking to archons, I'm talking to their little bitches, you know, their fucking pusillanimous tools that walk around this place like they actually mean something, or like they actually have something, you know? And within saying all of that and feeling all of that, I still can say this place is not real, and I'm not going to take any of this with me other than my love and natural inclination to protect my family. And so when I leave this place, whenever that is, it's very likely that I may still have family here. So I can forgive and forget this place, but as far as those that still torture and, you know, siphon and take advantage of us, my family, not likely. If we all get out of here at one time, then fine, I fuck this place. But you know, who's to say whether that'll happen or not, you know? Everything's complex, man. I think more should try to remember that before, like, asserting some kind of, like, judgment or opinion of others specifically. Every situation's different. Try to have discernment on each situation versus, like, just a uniform, yeah, you know? Because right now, if I were to meet an Orthodox Canaanite, you know, and the other, you know, Khazarians and all that shit, I'm sure that there are a few that are within those families and groups that don't like it. They don't want to be involved in the shit that they see around them, you know? And some have maybe even run away or gotten away, or, you know, the other possibilities there. Maybe they help us when they can, or maybe they've joined us completely. Who the fuck knows? But if I meet one, then I'll view it that way. But I don't. I haven't. So, you know, it's just like, that's just what it is. In any sense, I'm trying to be as genuine with the way that I talk about this shit and view this shit as possible. Not only so that I can kind of, like, share my research and my walk and all of this shit, but so that hopefully others can kind of, like, shake off all this indoctrination and all these attempts at getting you to join cults so that you don't think for yourselves. Even those that are, like, you know, on both sides of the spectrum, left, right, light, dark, all that shit, they're still trying to tell you how to be, dog. Like, you don't see that? You know, you know what I mean? Are those things you that's coming up with those things? I know that there's some more wiggle room there than usual with the Abrahamic shit, but, like, go have a conversation with, like, 4 right-hand path or left-hand path beings, and then, like, if you don't even make it up, but if you disagree with some shit, say that out loud and see what happens. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. Say that out loud and see how they respond to you not falling in line with the commonly accepted uniform practice of that path. They'll give you a little bit of wiggle room, but if you go too far out, like, you know, you're not going to have that many in support of you, we'll call it. But, yeah, you know, I don't know. I just wanted to touch on some of those things, I guess. I could keep going for a fairly long time on that, because I've given it a whole bunch of thought. But I won't hold you up. You know, the shorter videos seem to be allowing others to give my perspectives a true shot. I think the longer videos make people like, I can't listen to this, which is sad. I want to still say, if you can't listen to something, you know, for an hour or an hour and a half, I don't know. My opinion. But I love you, and I'll be back. You know, maybe later today, probably tonight though. I'm most likely going to be talking about Mel's Hole. If you would like to contribute or or donate to my research and work, the PayPal will be in the description. It's also in the description of the channel itself. If you have any suggestions or questions or shit you want to see me talk about or potentially do, within reason, I'm not talking about weird shit, just like, hey, talk about this, or hey, have you experimented with this? The email is gammaauobsidian@gmail.com. Gamma, AU obsidian@gmail.com. And same thing for the Instagram. I think that's all I got. Go check out that Infinite Cordos, dog. I'll let you, dog. Bye.